Hey there, Juan here. One of the things I want to talk about today is what makes you actually successful. I believe I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, consultants, small business owners, and I see a commonality, right? Usually, at some points when I talk to them, they're at the highest that they can be, right? All enthusiastic, everything's going for them. Then I'll talk to them on next week, on our coaching call. And sometimes they're just, at the lowest, at the lowest. Now, what I've seen, it's a pattern, right? One of the things that we have to remember is when everything's going good, everything's being, everything, just kind of falls into place, and we're feeling, you're feeling like, nothing can stop you. That's the momentum, right? There's certain things that you're doing. And then when you feel at your lowest, you just, don't, you just really don't want to do anything, right? Now, the correlation that what I found is it's really what your thoughts, right? Your thoughts, as we all know, create your behaviors. Well, actually, your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings becomes a mood, and the mood becomes, drives your actions, right? Thoughts, feelings, actions, right? So if you're feeling that, maybe you don't want to make that call, you don't want to go to work, you don't want to contact that client, you have to back up a little bit. Because you have that feeling, you're not doing that action, right? And if you back up a little bit, it's a thought. And usually those thoughts are controlled, by, it's really simplistic. Usually, there's this theory. It's called the child, adult, and parent theory. Now, if you really break it down, what it goes down to is we all have this child, somewhat programming, like a part of us, right? Playful, that's the one that kind of pouts sometimes when it gets mad, when it doesn't want to do anything, right? And then you have this critical, the parent, that they call. Now this one is critical, exactly what it is. It's actually a recording. I could talk about this in another video, but it's actually a recording of all the, things that you heard as a child between, usually between 0 and about 5 years of age that were just critical, right? Don't do this, don't do that, right? Don't touch with fire, don't touch the knife, don't go outside, all this critical part. Now, that becomes part of you. That becomes part of your thought process, right? And it's essentially there to protect you, right? But what happens is when you're being successful and things are going great, right? This critical voice is always there, seen when you're getting uncomfortable, when you're kind of pushing yourself a little bit beyond your comfort zone. So it's going to be critical. It's going to want to pull you back in. But unfortunately, when that critical voice starts, sometimes it's really difficult to stop it, right? So I'm telling you this because, if, you have felt like everything's going great, everything's positive, and then all of a sudden something switches, right? There was something that pushed you out of your comfort zone, that engaged your critical voice, right? And it's really not you, right? Because you want to be successful, you want to do great things. This critical voice, it's all that pre-recording when you were a child that starts criticizing you, and then it's like a wildfire. Then it begins on one thing and it just continues, right? So the number one thing is you have to be aware of. So when you're sitting there and, you don't feel, like you want to do what you have to do, just really stop, right? And really listen to see what your actual thoughts are. And you're going to hear a voice, as, goofy as that is. And it's going to be that critical voice just nagging at you, right? They call it the parent for a reason, right? It was like what we heard from our parents when we were a child, and we remembered that. So just know that if you're not feeling as wonderful as you are and as you should, it's not you. It's just that critical voice. And the way to interrupt it is to use the adult. And what the adult is our logical side of it, right? Yeah, its presence it's our prefrontal cortex. So the way you disengage from the critical voice or even from the child voice is to ask logical questions. A couple questions like this is, if it's, something that, you don't want to do, right? You can ask yourself, what would happen if I don't do this, right? Or what would happen if I do this, right? Or what wouldn't happen if I do this? Or what wouldn't happen if I don't do this? See what this does, it disengages your critical voice, and which is mostly our emotional, right? I mean, it's our pre-recorded, and engages our prefrontal cortex, which is our adult voice. That's the logical one. You want to bring back logic into it and actually feel and know what you're thinking, and then that's how you change it. And then you change your feelings, you change your mood, and then you actually change your actions, right? But just remember, when you're feeling stuck, ask logical questions like, what would happen if I don't do this? Or what would happen if I do this? What wouldn't happen if I do this? What wouldn't happen if I do this? Again, that engages your logical, has brain, your prefrontal cortex, and then it actually, you feel that release all of a sudden. So give it a shot. Remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, or any questions or comments that you want to put down below. And then remember, you are great, you are meant to succeed, and you are amazing at what you do. Believe in yourself, because I do.